The thing that was really, that made me so passionate about cryptocurrencies and really wanted me, I wanted to be an evangelist for cryptocurrencies because of the potential that I saw with it helping in one particular area. And then of course that area is now translated to many other areas in the same kind of manner. But, half of the world right now is either unbanked or underbanked, right? So you and I, we deposit money into our Chase or our Wells Fargo or whatever, and that money sits there and we consider it pretty safe. I mean, it's there. We can make transactions. We can go to the grocery store. Or we can buy something on Amazon or whatever it is. But you have to understand that over 2 trillion people in the world don't have that luxury. And it's because banking is expensive. And so the potential that I saw with cryptocurrency right out of the gate was the impact that it could have on people around the world to be able to get wealth into people's hands. Because if you don't have a bank account, you can't invest money, you can't, potentially buy things that could go up in value, and therefore wealth will never come to you. And so I think in order for us to see what we call this transfer of wealth, or what other people call wanting to essentially share the wealth with everybody, I think crypto actually gives people the opportunity within a free market environment. Right. And to me, that's a very powerful thing. When you can have a free market where people can buy a cryptocurrency and actually use it to go buy something else or to pay for something, whether it's a barter system or not, right? That's what we've had with money since way before we had dollars and cents and all of that. And so to me, that was one of the really big places that I saw the potential for cryptocurrency. And so one of the first investments I actually made was in a blockchain called Stellar Lumens. I invested when Stellar was like at 2 cents. And because, they really are focused on that. They're focused on bringing essentially banking to the unbanked, cross-border transactions. And I think that's very important in the world that we live in today, is giving people access, right? Yeah. And so giving people access to what they wouldn't have before. I think even, today, the day that we're living in, the internet is going to change because, again, if people don't have access to the internet, how can they do any of this stuff, right? So now you have mobile phones, obviously, that are giving people access to the internet. So really, anybody who has a mobile phone, which even many third world countries, people have mobile phones and they have access to the internet. And I think this is where the power of cryptocurrency lies. They may not be able to go and open a Chase, JP Morgan Chase or a Wells Fargo account, but they can get cryptocurrency. They can then use that cryptocurrency to either save some of their money, so it's not hidden under a mattress, and they don't have to worry about, the government, having these crazy monetary policies and massive inflation taking hold of their money, essentially, where buying a loaf of bread might cost $5,000, or $10,000. And it's really a hedge, in my view.
Yeah, and something that, they never had, they didn't have any options for this.
No options, zero.
Yeah. So that's very near and dear to my heart as well. One of the reasons I wanted to share what's happening out there, because even now, there's a huge chunk of the developed world that doesn't understand this is a problem.
Sure.
And then even if they do understand that this is a problem, they don't understand that this is a legitimate solution that doesn't involve, socialism or communism.
Yeah, exactly.
Men with guns forcing you to give your wealth to someone else.
That's true. And I will say, even in developed countries, I think, and I'd have to go back and look at this stat, we can fact check this later, but the last that I looked, even in the United States of America, which we would consider, a very developed country, the leader of the free world, so to speak, 30% of people are unbanked or underbanked in the United States of America. Wow. So you're talking about a problem that doesn't just exist in a third world country. This is a problem that exists right here in America, where we're sitting today, where you'd think that people have access to some of the greatest things, in the history of our modern world, and yet some people, many people, still are unbanked or underbanked in the United States and in many other developing countries as well. So this is a global problem. It touches everybody. And I think that cryptocurrency definitely can help solve that problem. I don't think it's the end-all be-all, but I definitely think that it can give people the opportunities that the current system doesn't provide them.
As far as some of these types of technologies and the things they're doing to do good, how does a Main Street investor participate in that? How do they accelerate that?
Sure. Yeah, I think there's three ways you can really invest in cryptocurrencies. I mean, you have the first way, which is, you know, you look at buying and holding kind of like the blue chip cryptocurrencies, right? So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar Lumens, and others, Ripple, and so on and so forth. You know, all of these others that most people probably already know about, right? So you can buy and hold. You can use a simple dollar cost averaging system, right? And put money into Bitcoin. I always tell people, look, I mean, you should just own some Bitcoin, you know, and you should just hold on to it. Hold on to it forever, really. People thought I was crazy when I said Bitcoin would go to 20,000 and when it would go to 30,000 and 40,000. And I know there's some astronomical claims out there about Bitcoin going to 500,000 or $1 million per coin, per token. That's very feasible because once you understand the limited supply, you understand demand and supply, it's feasible that it could go to those levels. And so even if somebody owned a Satoshi at $1 million, which is a Satoshi is the smallest increment in a Bitcoin, it's 9 decimal places. And this is the difference between crypto, and I'm going to keep going on the you know, the investment part, but this is the difference between crypto and fiat. You know, you can break down $1 into 100 pennies. You can break down 1 Bitcoin into 9 decimal places. So people always say, well, Bitcoin is $42,000 now, or when it was 63,000, they were like, well, who could own a Bitcoin? Or, you know, you can own a piece of a Bitcoin. Right. You don't have to own the whole thing at once. I mean, Solana, I think is a great project, and I think there's a lot of great decentralized apps being. There's actually a lot of opportunity on the decentralized apps being built on Solana right now. I wouldn't say that it's the Ethereum killer, but I think you can find like gems of coins to either trade or buy into if you want a long-term investment on them as well. I think there's some coins you can find that are trading on Solana, you know, that are the decentralized applications on Solana, built on the Solana protocol.